This is set number 5, slides 1 through 29 of Daniel's 70th week, the 75 days following the week, and the year of Jubilee. Again, this is a co-presentation together, the Tribulation Network, along with End Time Pilgrim. End Time Pilgrim can be found at www.endtimepilgrim.org. And of course, the Tribulation Network's website is www.the-tribulation-network.com. Again, I am your host, Doug Krieger of the Tribulation Network, and now let's go on to set number 5 of Daniel's 70th week. Which brings us to Jubilee connection number 4, the return of Messiah as King of Kings. This is the grand apex to holy history. Not surprisingly, it now seems clear that this glorious event will indeed be heralded with the trumpets of Jubilee. King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the second coming of Messiah. Messiah will return to set the captives free, deliver Jerusalem, and gather his elect, the living and the dead, from both sides of Calvary. He will restore all Israel, raising up the dead and rapturing out those who are alive and remain in the resurrection and the rapture. Here we see Ezekiel's awe-inspiring resurrection vision of the valley of dry bones from Ezekiel 37. The trumpets of Jubilee will certainly be an appropriate and auspicious celebration as Messiah comes to raise up his people at the last day. The magnificent resurrection and the rapture of all the saints will come on a day and hour unknown in the day of the Lord, at the climax of this age. The trumpets of Jubilee. Which brings us now to Jubilee connection number 5. As we see in Leviticus chapter 25, the trumpets of Jubilee are blown on the Day of Atonement, announcing the year of Jubilee on Tishri 10, the Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement is that awesome, yet to be fulfilled, climactic future, Moed, or appointed time. It is the 6th of the 7 feasts of Israel. If you Google 7 feasts of Israel, you will find the End Time Pilgrim website page and a YouTube video on the 7 feasts. Commensurate with this, the Tribulation Network also has a series on the prophetic fulfillment of the feasts of Israel. The 7 feasts of Israel and the Hebrew calendar. As you can see, Dr. Gavin Finley has done an excellent job in putting this chart together here of the 12 Hebrew prophetic months, if you would, on their calendar, and of the spring feasts and the fall feasts, and how they interconnect. The first of the spring feasts is Messiah's first coming as the suffering servant. The group of fall feasts shows Messiah's return as the conquering king. And then between them is Pentecost. The 7 different feasts are Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Pentecost, and then trumpets, atonement, and tabernacles, all of which have their Hebrew name counterparts. The first 4 feasts were fulfilled in the springtime and summer of the Passion Year nearly 2,000 years ago as prophetic fulfillment. There they are, clearly outlined as Passover, Pesach, unleavened bread, and first fruits, which fall together in the month of Nisan. Those last 3 moeds, the fall feasts of Israel, will be fulfilled prophetically in times to come during the 70th week and soon after the 70th week ends. And here you see them: Rosh Hashanah, trumpets; Yom Kippur, atonement; and Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. Most interesting how they all coincide and come together at that time. We shall present additional evidence up ahead that the Day of Atonement wraps up the 70th week and the final 7 years of this age. It will, in fact, be the last day of this present evil age. And here you see the Feast of Trumpets and Yom Kippur, the Feast of Atonement, the Day of Atonement, and Tabernacles. The Tribulation Network will add a new dimension to this in taking into account the 75 days, but we do accord with the blowing of the trumpets to announce the coming of the year of Jubilee. The Day of Atonement, the 6th appointed time, comes at the end of the 10 days of awe on the 10th day of Tishri. This is the most fearful day on the Hebrew calendar. On this special high holy day in some awesome future year, the trumpets of Jubilee will sound, and at the set time, the Day of Atonement will come into its ultimate new covenant fulfillment. The year of Jubilee is proclaimed on Tishri 10. The Day of Atonement is on Tishri 10. This age will certainly end spectacularly with the Ancient of Days in sovereign control of events. So if that future Day of Atonement is accompanied by an epic Jubilee of biblical proportions, is this not to be expected? This wonderful item of Hebraic art entitled The Final Prayer is by Jewish artist Yossi Rosenstein. It showcases that climactic final Yom Kippur, the one that will wrap up all the Yom Kippurs that have gone before it. The Day of Atonement is a day of accounting, a day of reckoning, a day of pardoning, and a day of sentencing. On this day of appointed, in that epic future fall season, the books will be open. This is straightforward legal protocol. The returning Messiah must wrap up all the legal affairs of this present evil age before they can be taken on to execution. This Day of Atonement is a day of reconciliation, of accounts for all, the living and the dead from both sides of Calvary. This is more than just a Bema Olympic-style judgment for rewards and medals. Every single person will be brought before the judgment seat of Christ to give an account of his life. There is a merciful covering for sin. Full atonement is provided for those who know Messiah. And on that awesome future Day of Atonement, the high priest will bring the blood of the Lamb up from the sacrifice altar to be applied to the mercy seat. The sprinkling of the blood upon the mercy seat. And this is where that blood came from. Calvary. And this concludes our 5th set in this special series, co-presentation by End Time Pilgrim and the Tribulation Network. Again, I've been your host, Doug Krieger of the Tribulation Network, and now we're going to go on to number 6 in this special series. Thank you very much for viewing and for listening.